Welcome to the Living Stoically channel. We continue to delve into the world of Stoicism, and today we will talk about how Stoicism helps us free ourselves from emotional attachments. Before we start learning, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Life inevitably confronts us with a simple truth. People come and go. We form connections, build attachments, and often invest deeply in those who play a meaningful role in our lives. But what happens when these bonds start to fade or break? How do we handle the emotional weight when someone no longer occupies the same place in our lives, or when we realize that their emotional investment wasn't as deep as ours? These questions lead us to Stoicism, a philosophy Marcus Aurelius developed to help people live with mindfulness and resilience. The Stoics were masters at understanding human emotions. Their approach wasn't about avoiding feelings, but rather about finding balance so emotions didn't control our lives. Emotional detachment isn't about coldness or indifference. It's a way to find clarity and inner peace without losing yourself. In this article, we'll walk through 5 Stoic rules that can help us emotionally detach based on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Rule 1. Understand the impermanence of life. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. In emotional attachment, we often get stuck in our perception of a person, creating stories about their role in our lives. But the reality is that all relationships are temporary. One moment you're close, and the next you're distant, separated by time, distance, or the gradual fading of intimacy. This is an inevitable part of life. When you understand that no bond is permanent, you begin to live more consciously in the present. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Life works in much the same way. The more we try to hold on to someone, the faster they may slip away. I went through this myself when a friendship that had lasted over 10 years slowly began to fade. Accepting that the relationship had run its course helped me release that emotional burden. Marcus Aurelius exemplifies this lesson. Accepting that all things end allows us to suffer less. Rule 2. Govern your emotions through reason. We often feel that emotions control us. Pain, sadness, and anger arise naturally, especially when we're emotionally attached to someone. But here's the hard truth. Emotions are not reality. They're the product of our thoughts and beliefs. The Stoics strongly believed that we are not enslaved by our emotions. Our emotions are dictated by our thoughts. Marcus Aurelius taught that it is our mind that determines how we respond to the world. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Imagine you're going through a breakup. You're emotionally shattered, replaying conversations, analyzing every detail, asking, why did this happen? Or how could they move on so easily? Stoicism advises you to shift that focus. Instead of giving in to your emotions, ask yourself, what are the facts? And how can I view this differently? Each time something happens, whether it's an argument or feeling overlooked, we interpret the situation and give it meaning. But it's not the event itself that creates emotional turmoil. It's our perception of it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, suggesting that our emotions are a direct result of our internal dialogue. Imagine you send a heartfelt message to someone close, but they don't respond. Your mind starts to race. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Do they not care about me? With each passing moment, the emotions build, from mild concern to frustration, and maybe even anxiety or anger. But what's the truth here? Is it their delayed response causing the storm of emotions? or is it your interpretation of their silence? The Stoic response is to question this reaction and use reason. What do you actually know? The fact is, they haven't replied. Everything beyond that is speculation. Once, I found myself in this exact situation. A friend hadn't replied for hours, and I spent the night feeling anxious. The next day, it turned out they were simply busy. Reminding myself of Marcus Aurelius's words, "Focus on what's within your control," I started to learn to let go of the emotional storm I'd created for myself. Rule 3. Practice negative visualization. At first glance, negative visualization may seem like a strange practice. Why would anyone consciously imagine losing something or someone they value? Doesn't this just create unnecessary stress? But this Stoic technique teaches us to prepare our minds for the inevitable losses in life. The idea is simple but profound. By imagining the worst-case scenario in advance, you lessen its emotional impact if it actually happens. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not disturb yourself by imagining all life's troubles at once. Face each one with calmness and self-control." Negative visualization builds resilience. Imagine someone you're deeply attached to. Now, picture your life without them. How does it feel? Uncomfortable? Painful? That's exactly the point. The Stoics believed that by mentally confronting the discomfort of loss, we reduce its power over us in reality. I started this practice when my best friend was planning to move abroad. At first, the thought of being separated filled me with fear, but I gradually began picturing my life without them close by. While the actual parting was still hard, I was mentally prepared. Rule 4. Focus on what you can control. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that there are things within our control and things beyond it. When it comes to emotional detachment, this distinction is crucial. Many of our relationship pains stem from our desire to control what we simply cannot. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasized the importance of focusing only on what is within our control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Other people's behavior or the outcomes of events, those are beyond our reach. The more we try to control what we can't, the more we suffer. Emotional detachment is not about becoming indifferent, but about letting go of our attachment to outcomes we can't dictate. When you're deeply attached to someone, it's natural to want them to feel the same way about you. But the truth is, we cannot make others love or value us. The only thing we can control is how we respond. Shifting your focus to what you can control returns your power to you. Don't wait for validation from others. Create your own inner balance, independent of external circumstances. Rule 5. See the bigger picture. When we're deeply involved in an emotional relationship or difficult situation, it's easy to lose perspective. Stoicism encourages us to step back and consider the broader view, reminding us that our fears and desires are just fleeting moments in time. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Or does this person define my entire life? Shifting from immediate emotions to the bigger picture helps you realize that much of our distress is temporary. Stoicism teaches us that no one person or event should have total control over our emotional well-being. When we're overly attached to someone, it's easy to make them the center of our universe. But stepping back and understanding that life is ever-changing helps you see that, however significant this connection may be, it's only part of your journey. Think back to previous relationships or moments that felt like the end of the world. Those wounds healed and you grew stronger. Reflecting on the bigger picture reminds us that emotional detachment isn't about not caring. It's about gaining the ability to see life more broadly. These 5 Stoic principles can help us let go emotionally, not by shutting ourselves off from the world, but by building resilience and strength. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, put a like and a bell so as not to miss our videos.